know that we're live.
Okay. Yeah, Anya's smelling, but she's the best. Can you believe, guys, that she farted earlier and just didn't say anything?
I'll kill
Thinking I
you.
couldn't hear it.
Zach feels very proud that I'm now saying that I'll kill people. He's like, I'm slowly corrupting Anya.
That's Kudekalalia, Zach. I think Anya would have done it regardless. Because she hears it so much
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah. I do mirror people a lot.
Yeah.
Because Azure also says it a lot, so I probably got it from hearing him as well.
Yeah. Does and that I do that we bounce off of each other because we hang out so much and been together so much for the
Yeah.
last 6 years.
Yeah. Yep. We're the main Tomodachis. Oh snap! That review channel that did the Vampire Knight React just released the last episode of School Days, so they've now watched all of it.
Hell yeah.
The most iconic episode. They're finally at the ice boat.
Das Boot.
Honestly, the eroge genre is so like fascinating to me. Like, there's so many
It's
like
very gay.
It is. You wouldn't expect it, but it is. But there's like a lot of really interesting like titles and stuff in the eroge genre compared to other genres, though it's often not like looked upon like that just because of all the sexual content, which automatically makes it lesser than, which is dumb.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Like, there's no shame in liking that stuff. Like, people need to be more open about it.
Yeah, yeah. Like we all.
Because then, if people are more open about the stuff that they like, it means there'll be a lot less stigma around it. You see how that works?
Yeah, yeah, and they'll be a lot more happier. For it.
Why I'm like, yeah, my room is full of Pokemon plushes. I love Pokemon. I've been playing it since I was 9 years old. And, because that's when Pokemon Yellow came out, was 98. I was a little late in that. But, like, yeah, I still love Pokemon. I'm almost 35. I don't give a shit.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I literally have seen, like, people post on Twitter, like, being like, oh, once you get to a certain age, you shouldn't be, like, doing this stuff anymore. And it's like, shut up. It's not like you stop being yourself.
This is the perfect age for it because you can now afford to do this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I could only play Pokemon when I was younger on a Game Boy, and also I could only get the game for like my birthday or Christmas.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough, they're close together, but like If something came out in like May or something, I'd have to wait a long time in order to be able to play it. And like now, if I want something, I can just buy it for myself and not
Heck
wait for my
yeah.
parents to be able to afford it. Because my family was and is poor as shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of crazy because, like, I, sometimes I kind of feel like my birthday is now moot point in some ways. Because if I really want something, I usually just buy it myself now. Like, as soon as it's there, I don't wait for the birthday to come around. And so now it's like once my birthday comes around, I'm like, I don't. And like my sister is like, "What do you want for your birthday?" I'll be like, I have no idea. I honestly don't know.
That is. This is why, Anya, I have been doing the work for you, where I've been gathering stuff from Pokemon Center that I think you would like, so you can send it to your sister for
Heck
stuff like
yeah.
that.
Heck yeah. That is the way to do it.
Yeah. Like, you're not good at pebbling, I could do it for you. I'm extremely good at pebbling.
Heck yeah. Well, the other issue is that a lot of times, like, things that I want also now is like, you gotta buy it, like, you have to pre order it at certain times. So you can't always get it, like, right before my birthday. Like, you have to, like, go and buy it ahead of
oh,
time.
oh, that's why with Pokemon Center, like, I give you stuff that's months in advance of your birthday and Christmas, because even if it runs out, by that time that stuff is most likely going to be back in stock.
Yeah, makes
So,
sense.
and
Oh,
even if you can't find it on the Pokemon Center, you can find it on eBay or something for about the same price.
heck yeah. Hi, Mew. Welcome, welcome to the stream. How's it going? I love ya.
Hello. And you could even like get the Squishmallows at like Walmart and stuff for in your case.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Yeah, well, yeah,
I'm
I
still waiting on
literally,
a date for that properly, actually.
yeah. The shadow plushie that I have, I is a squishmallow that literally Azure found at the Best Buy in the mall that we went to.
Yeah, they sell those. Yeah, it's either Walmart or it's Best Buy.
Yeah.
Because I know about that because I follow like Pokemon plush Reddits and stuff like that that talk about people like, oh, this sold out is such and such. Is there any other place I can get it? And it's like, yeah, they usually have it at Walmart or Best Buy, and it's usually the bigger versions of them as well.
Yeah. Yep. Very true. And I'm doing well, Mew. Hanging in there.
Hello.
Um, but yeah. It honestly, it's surprising how much is you can find in Walmart. Like, Walmart tends to carry a lot of stuff, especially a lot of like um good toys and stuff in the toy section that you wouldn't expect. Though,
Yeah, like, um, sorry, you finish.
no, you go, you go.
I was just saying that, like, Yella, like my boyfriend, he has issues knowing what people want. So I will also squirrel away, um, just things that I could want on the Pokemon Center, or 'cause I usually buy games myself, but anything on Pokemon Center, like I hesitate in getting that stuff for myself sometimes
Yeah.
because it's a bit more expensive. Um, and but he's now done the same where he loves stuff he loves the Lego stuff, Lego stuff, and so I asked him to just show me a bunch of stuff that he wanted, and literally it's most of the website because Lego does run very expensive. But I'm just like, fuck yes, give me all the links so I know what to send you for your birthday and Christmas. Like, yes, just send them all to me. Because I have literally took all of the links he sent me and compiled them into a folder on on, um, on and like a bookmarks folder, and I have all of that ready for his birthday, which is literally in 2 weeks, actually.
Ooh, heck yeah. Happy early birthday.
Yeah. So I should probably get on that. Anyway.
Anyway. Also, hi Azure. Welcome to the stream. I love you so much. Thank you for the tier. What's up for 61 months? And yep, late stream indeed. Yep. I had I had to go and do my driver's license stuff, and then afterwards my parents wanted to go to the grocery store.
Go to the DMV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went
to
I
always found that weird.
Yeah, we went to the DMV, gave all the documents, and did all that stuff. So that's all done. And then afterwards, we went to a couple of grocery stores, like Whole Foods and Dillon's, or not Whole Foods, Natural Grocers and Dillon's and all that. So, yeah. So that's why I'm here now. And I love you both the most, and that's a fact. And I'll fight you, Lulu. Yeah, now I'm here and ready to do more of these shenanigans. We're like more than halfway through. We have, I think, just 3 more sections. Like, we have this one, and then another one, and then I think we have the final section after that. Because I think the last few hours are like a combined thing together.
Yeah, they are. So would you like to tell stream what we did last week? If you remember.
I'm trying to bring it back to the forefront of my brain what we did last week. We found out that Hitomi, so we knew that Hitomi was infected and that she was given the virus or whatever, or the antiviral to like fix that. But it turns out that when Maria was kidnapped, they also gave her the virus, so now she's also infected, allegedly. And this is kind of goes with, we found out the guy is named, like, I want to say Alucard, but it's not Alucard. I keep thinking Alucard. It's Castlevania.
It's Alphard.
Alphard. He apparently, what he does is he like makes a bunch of like imperfect plans and stuff so that if one doesn't hit, another one will. And so that's why both Hitomi and Maria ended up getting infected, with Hitomi having the cure in her blood now, and Maria not having the cure and being actively sick and possibly gonna die if nothing is done in time. So that was kind of like the main thing and then also there was the car explosion that we got to see multiple times, which was fun. We accidentally killed Minorikawa during one of the endings, but we saved him, so it was okay. I almost typed "Oh Snape." I can't believe Azure is part of Snape's wives cult. Oh snap! Yeah. I wish Alucard was in this game. But yeah, I think. And then also, he basically the main detective guy for Osawa's campaign, like, found out about the same things that Kano and the rest have found out, and so he kind of told both
Kajiwara.
Kajiwara told Ai and Osawa about what happened, and she, of course, was very upset that Tanaka died, and because he was the one that was in the car that exploded, so he died. And I'm pretty sure that the cell phone is what caused the explosion, because the cell phone went off right before the explosion. So, and I know I've heard of, like, in detective shows and whatnot, that you can rig a bomb to go off, like, by, like, being connected to a cell phone, like, going off. So, I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened. But yeah, and then also Kano met with the dad finally after hours. Like, the fact that the dad, like, despite all of his grumbling, the fact that he waited there for that long, kind of amazing.
Yeah.
But, you know, in the end, he ended up accepting Kano, like, feeling, it, and I think Kano's message got through to him, so I think that whole subplot is kind of done now. That he and Rumi are probably gonna leave, or at least try to leave. Who knows if they'll succeed with everything that's going on, but at least that is, Kano doesn't have to worry about meeting up with the dad, because it seems like he's accepted him and Rumi together. And it also seems like a good turning point for Kano's character, because he's really kind of grown by this point in, like, understanding what is important to him and what he wants to do, which is pretty neato. And yeah, and then the final thing that happened before, like, the end of the hour was that the Tateno came back and was like, actually, I'm gonna hold you as a hostage, Maria, to try and get Hitomi to appear or something. But yeah. So yeah, that happened. Woo! Anyways, let's go. Let's hope my controller doesn't disconnect like it tends to.
Hopefully.
But yeah, so we're at the new hour. We could just do what we always have done. Oh, I love that they actually have him now covered in, like, the explosion stuff on this screen. That's pretty good. I like that they add on those little details.
Yeah.
Like that, plus when Maria took off her outfit, actually showing on the screen her taking off her outfit, and then also changing her outfit later on. And then now with Minorikawa actually being covered in dirt and all that is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch of, like, showing you, like, I guess it's sort of like a visual indication of stuff happening hour to hour.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
which is pretty good. I like that a lot. It's again another little detail the game does that I think really is what makes this game shine, is kind of all those little details that they're doing with it. Anya, can you repeat that? No, Azure, that already took like 20 minutes. We're just going to go in. But yeah, I think we'll do the regular thing where we go in a circle. We'll start with Kano and go through like this, just like last time.
Look it up.
Arriving back at the Shibuya precinct, Kano hurried to the interrogation room. With the investigation currently on hold, he knew that taking any official action would be tricky. If he was going to break through this stalemate, he was going to need Tateno's help. The abduction, the ransom, the attaché case relay, Maria's release, and then Tanaka's death. Maybe Tateno would be able to figure out how all these elements were related. I think he already has. Or at least he has a pretty good idea of it. Like, as soon as he met Maria, I could see the clogs in his head turning, and he was like, and he sat there for a little bit, and then was like, I see. That's what happened. But first, Kano needed to check something for himself.
I don't know why I heard clogs instead of cogs.
I probably accidentally said clogs instead of cogs.
No, you didn't. It's just the Dutch pilled brain that I've been getting.
Heck yeah.
Because I'm like on my 102nd day of learning Dutch, so.
Heck yeah. I believe in you, Lulu. You got this.
Oh, Dutch. Okay.
Tateno would never have let Al-Karawan go free. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I feel like he would if he had like a good reason to. And I think he believes that he has a good reason to.
But the thing is that we have been seeing Tatano all over the place, whereas Kano hasn't.
Yeah, it's again
so we have more information again than the narrator does.
Yeah,
so.
It's a biased perspective.
Yep.
Kano needed the prisoner to set the record straight. Al-Karawan sat in the precinct interrogation room looking brazen and cocksure. Also, I found out through the TV tropes page for this game that
you didn't spoil yourself.
No, I didn't. I didn't spoil myself, but I did hear that I think the actress who played Kanan was like a minor at the time that she was playing. Like, I think only like 12 years old or something, which is like insane.
Yeah, she was extremely young, yeah.
One glance at his face and Kano was reminded of what had happened to Sasayama. Fresh anger smoldered at the edges of his mind. There were two detectives already in the room.
Which means at this point she'd be Angel's age, actually, I think.
Oh, snap.
Because this was 2008, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me...
So yeah, 4 years, so yeah, 96.
Amazing. Angel could have been in this game.
Yes.
It seems he wasn't made privy to the details. Sounds like they were following orders carrying that attaché case around. Kano sat down across from Al-Karawan. There's something I'd like to ask you. Do you want to be Al-Karawan?
I could try. We were just paid to do a job. I don't know anything more than that.
His Japanese was imperfect, but he understood the language well enough. Tell me, how did you manage to escape from Detective Tateno?
Escape? I didn't.
That's not a faint smile. That's a full-on smile.
He let me go free.
Utsosuke! Detective Tateno would never do that. Kind of slammed the desk with his fist.
I didn't have handcuffs on, did I? Took them off for me.
This had to be a lie. It's not like there weren't other ways to remove a pair of handcuffs.
He took off the handcuffs. He pointed his gun at me.
Cut the crap. But Alcarwin went on unperturbed.
He kept the gun pointed at me, but he didn't pull the trigger. So that's when I ran.
Why would Detective Tateno want to shoot you?
Because I saw him.
Saw him? Saw him do what?
Let me tell you something interesting.
Is he gonna tell them that he tried to kill Hitomi, or... I'm guessing. Yeah.
That was like the girl who was counting the ransom, right?
Kano pictured Hitomi standing anxiously beside the statue of Hachiko.
That guy Titano was trying to kill her. There we go.
Yeah. In a fit of rage, Kano drove his fist into Alcarwan's face. His colleagues rushed to interpose themselves. Kano, come down! Knocked to the floor, Alcarwan gingerly fingered his split lip.
Not that I gave you such good info, too.
Detective Tateno was assigned to protect Hitomi Osawa. You can't expect me to believe you're rubbish.
Believe it or not, it's true.
Yeah, he lunged around the table.
He lurched around the table. He got out some sandwiches. He got up the dick with them. It's a pack of sausages.
Yep, he just starts throwing food. Ready to throw another punch, but his fellow detectives held him back. Alcarwan looked away indifferently.
It's your Detective Tatano you should be arresting, not me. That man's that girl's going to get killed.
You need to step in line, pal. Kono! You're the one who needs to step in line. Go and cool off for a bit.
I'll be over here dancing.
Expelled from the interrogation room, Kano immediately pulled out his cell phone and called Tateno's number. Please pick up. He clutched his phone tight, pleading under his breath. But Tateno didn't answer. Yeah, the protagonist from Persona is just gonna have to find somewhere else.
Yep. Oh, the protagonist from 3 isn't gonna have any is gonna have to find a new confidant as well.
Yeah. Kano sat down in a chair in the hallway in a bit of a daze. He found himself holding the present Sasayama had gotten for his wife. I have to do something. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. His restlessness gnawed at him like a rabid animal. Hey, Oh, wait. Hey, Kano! He looked up to see Kuze standing beside him, his expression grave. I have an update on Sasayama. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat.
Serious.
It seems the knife went in deep enough to do some organ damage. He's in critical condition.
Oh, he's turning into Marge now.
Homie!
Homie!
Toad, is that you? Says Asher. I see. Yep. His handkerchief, red with Sasayama's blood, clung to the wrapping paper of Sasayama's present. Kind of peel it away carefully so as to not tear the paper beneath. What's that? Sasayama had me hold on to this for him. It's a present for his wife. I see. I'm sorry, Director Kuze, for ignoring your orders. Kano's eyes remained fixed on the gift as he spoke. When you get down to it, none of this would have happened if it weren't for me. What do you mean? No?
It just, this is part of Kano's, such character flaw is that he breaks down at the littlest thing.
Yeah.
And he thinks everything's his fault.
Relatable.
I cannot make fun of him for it because none of us can.
Yeah. Relatable. It's too relatable. Some kind of punishment was surely headed his way for acting alone as he had. He probably wasn't getting out of this one with a simple written apology.
When public servants are negligent in their duties or violate regulations, they can be punished with a warning, a form of reprimand, reduction in pay, suspension, or dismissal. In the case of a warning, in addition to the remonstration from a direct supervisor, the individual must also submit a formal letter explaining the relevant details and assuring that it won't happen again.
Bakuze calmly shook his head. What happened to Sasayama isn't your fault. Don't blame yourself. As far as this case goes, I've been given quite the runaround myself. There was a rare note of vulnerability in Kuze's voice. The higher-ups have barely let any information trickle my way, but they're still ordering me around nonstop. It's a real pain in the ass. Kuze fell silent, ruminating. The quiet lingered between the two men for several moments before he abruptly spoke again. All right. I'd like to get your opinion on something. So, Mamoru Tanaka, who we found in the minivan, What'd you think? Should we oughta maybe release his name to the media? Kuze had slipped into his childish register. He was clearly exhausted.
I thought you already had one.
Yeah.
After dealing with the kidnappers' baffling actions and too much meddling from the higher-ups, even a veteran like Kuze is just beat. But that's not the only reason for exhaustion. Kuze has a brother, 6 years his senior, who, despite being nominally mature, refuses to get a real job and shows no inclination to settle down with family. He works around day after day, dressed like a hippie and treating passers-by songs he's written. Kuze's been worried about his shiftless brother for years now. The guy's become a chronic source of consternation.
Amazing.
Let your brother live his life.
No. Kano was thrown by the question. It was a rare thing for the director to seek an opinion from a mere junior detective. It feels like there's something not too normal about one of Kenji Osawa's subordinates dying. Kano had had the same thought. This felt too intentional to be a coincidence. So here's the question. Should I get the media involved to try to rush for a resolution, or should I be more cautious? What would you do? About releasing the name? That wasn't such a simple thing to answer. There were so many factors to consider. A tired smile came to Kuze's face. Don't think about it too hard. This is just so I have a point of reference. Tell me what your gut says.
Just Google. It says well, WWKD. What would you say to
I mean, I think releasing the name...
do?
I feel like releasing the name is the right thing, but that's because I know that Minorikawa is also trying to help solve the case. And that's why I'm thinking about releasing the name, because if we release the name, that helps Minorikawa.
But games like this, it's like a point-and-click game where, like, you think of something you're supposed to do, but then the game creates a roundabout way in order to have to do that same thing. So
Yeah, it's like, I'm not sure. And I'm also trying to think, what would Kano do? Yeah,
WWKD.
yeah, exactly. It's like, would he say yes to this or no? Is the real question.
Well, it's always, remember, you can always change it to something else. So
Yeah.
you, I hate rushing you in these things, Anya, but you need to just make a decision.
Yeah.
It's not life ending if you choose something and it turns into a bad end. It's a video game, unlike real life.
Yeah. That is true.
Then, when there's a
I
video game where you die in real life, then I'll tell you to take your time. Otherwise, it's like
I think
just choose
we
one.
I think we should release the name. Yeah, my decision paralysis is massive. I think we should release the name.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I said, like, it'll help out Minorikawa. And I do think that in most circumstances he might say no, but he also has a good instinct for things. Like, he has a good gut feeling for what the right choice is. And so I feel like since this would help Minorikawa, which would in turn help everybody in this, I think that instinctively Kano should know that this is probably the right answer. So I'm going for it. I think releasing the name should be alright. There was still a lot they didn't know about Tanaka. The fact that the final stop for the ransom relay was Tanaka's condo implied some sort of connection between him and the kidnappers. But they still had no idea what his role in the abduction might have been. They also didn't have any motive for why Tanaka would be helping the kidnappers in the first place. By sharing some of what they did know with the public, they might be able to garner some new leads. You'd release the name? Alright then. Without another word, Kuze headed back toward the conference room. On the TV, the governor's press conference was still going on. I've just requested that each of the railroad companies, starting with JR, stop running trains through Shibuya Station until further notice. As far as the roads go, Route 246 has already been closed to traffic. The executive looked pale as he spoke to the crowd. Is there any possibility of a bioterrorist attack? What about the people who are still in Shibuya? The reporters unleashed a barrage of questions. The governor's face scrunched up. As I've already made clear, this is not a complete blockade, but it's slowly becoming a complete blockade.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, the stream froze.
Oh no!
There we go. He's finally caught up. Because modern Japan does not have a system for enacting martial law, there are few ways that the government could effectively quarantine Shibuya. In the case of a potential viral infection, the infectious disease law allows for the city to be partitioned into areas of restricted movement. If the authorities do not want to acknowledge the existence of the top-secret Ua virus, however, taking such an action would be rather tricky illegally.
Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work for this.
Yeah.
We're
There's
not
not.
skipping those lines. You're
Yeah.
just wasting your points.
To be fair, I have nothing else on this channel to really use the points for except for making funny emotes. So I really
Yeah, I
need to
know.
add more stuff to that. There's nothing to stop Betty from leaving Shibuya on foot.
Is it only you that can add stuff, or can the mods add stuff as well?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I'll have to look that up later.
Yeah. Is it what you're describing de facto martial law? Of course not. You should be well aware that martial law is illegal. I could declare it even if I wanted to. If you wanted to. So this is a bioterrorist issue then. I never said anything of the sort. The press conference was evolving into chaos. Kano was unsurprised given the circumstances. Still, everyone was doing their best insofar as they knew how. So why not me, Kano thought. It doesn't matter what I do. I just want to be doing something. Just letting time tick by without trying to take action was more than he could bear. Kano.
See, the thing about calling Rumi is that this could stop her from leaving Shibuya when she's currently leaving.
Maybe. But I just feel like it would make sense to call Rumi, though. Like, from a story standpoint, I think it makes sense. Because, I think it might be the thing to get Kano to snap out of this fugue state that he's in right now.
Possible.
I'm gonna call her. Began to worry about Rumi and decided to give her a call. The phone rang several times before it went to voicemail. Wah wah! The fact that she hadn't picked up made Kano all the more anxious. Wah wah! He was still staring at his phone when he got a call of his own. When he peered at the incoming call display, his heart nearly stopped. There was Sateno's name. Kano quickly pressed the call button to accept the call. Detective Tateno? Detective Tateno, is that you? There was a whole mountain of things Kano wanted to ask. Just what had Tateno been doing this whole time? Why had he let Alcarawan go free? And what had happened to Hitomi? But while he was trying to decide what question to pose first, Tateno spoke.
I've secured Maria Osawa.
What? The word came out as a startled gasp. Detective Tateno, you have to bring her here ASAP. Right now, she's... Tateno cut him off.
You need to bring Hitomi Osawa to my location at once.
Hitomi? Osawa?
Yes. I hear over the wireless that the man from the US Embassy had her in custody.
Kano hadn't been listening to the most recent wireless traffic. Apparently Stanley had managed to find Hitomi. But what was Tateno getting at here? Wait, hold on. What for? I mean, why do you need me to bring Hitomi Osawa to you? There was no reply. Detective Tateno, answer me, please. Tateno replied as if he hadn't heard Kano's questions.
There's an office building in Nampadai called South Hill. I'll be waiting for you on the rooftop. If you don't bring her, I'll kill Maria.
With that grisly warning, he hung up. Kano's hand went limp. His phone slipped from his grasp and fell to the floor.
Which we know currently is true because he let Maria go.
Yeah.
So unless he then goes back to get her and captures her as a last-ditch effort to do things, he doesn't have her currently.
No, he does. He does. Because I remember at the end of the last chapter, he went back to her and said, actually, I'm taking you as a
Yeah, I
hostage.
guess so, yeah. I forgot about that, to be honest.
Kana went to South Hill in Nampadai alone.
The building takes its name from a rough translation of Nampadai, the name of the area where it's located. No shit. The official name is South Hill Building, but since it's awkward to say, it is frequently shortened. Wow, who could have assumed that?
Oh, it's a hostage. Never mind. Exactly, Azure. Not the other way. he hadn't,
That's gross, Azure. You're gross.
he hadn't brought Hitomi as Tateno had demanded, nor had he reported the situation to Kuse. First, he wanted to meet with Tateno and find out what was going on. He took the elevator to the 8th floor. After that, he had to take the stairs to the rooftop. As he made his way up the steps, he tried to imagine what Tateno might want with Hitomi. He hadn't noticed anything suspicious about the senior detective in the lead up to the stakeout at the Scramble. Tateno had seemed like the same man Kano had always revered. So why was he doing this?
You'll find out.
Kano couldn't think of a reason. Reaching the top of the staircase, he at last stepped out onto the open roof. Oh, snap. The time for half-baked conjecture was past. Kano would lay his doubts at Tateno's feet. Then, soon enough, everything would become cleared. Inwardly, Kano did his best to convince himself of that. A warm breeze blew against his cheek. He took a look around but saw no sign of Tateno. Detective Tateno, where are you? Getting no response, he began to walk around the rooftop, calling out several more times. It's Kano! I've come as you asked!
She told me you saw her.
Kano whirled around when he heard the voice behind him. Yeah, see, there she is.
Yep.
Tateno stepped into view from behind a water tank. He led with him a young woman bound and blindfolded.
Why didn't you bring her?
Kano stared in shock. Detective Tateno, why are you doing this? Is that really Maria? Oh, and we have a jump point, but we can't use it yet because we haven't even accessed Maria's storyline.
Yep.
Tateno responded by removing the young woman's blindfold. With her blindfold removed, Maria slowly opened her eyes. Oh wait, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Then as she gazed past
Maria.
Kano, a panicked look crossed her face. Ah! She shot at... wait, why did I... I'm so sorry.
Ah!
She shot out her arm to point. Oh my god!
Why is he there?
Why is Minorikawa here? This is such a weird sequence of events.
We'll find out.
Right now, Kano thought to himself, but he couldn't just stand idly by while someone committed suicide. He felt a pang of disgust when he saw Tateno take in the situation with an indifferent glance, but make no move to help. Detective Tateno, I'll be right back. We can finish this after. Without waiting for an answer, he raced for the other building. When he got to the second rooftop, the man was still there, staring down at the ground below. Don't do anything rash! When the man gave no response, though, Kano quickly halted. The stranger was still several meters away. Kano braced himself, ready to lunge for the man if necessary. Let's not be hasty. Nobody's going to be happy if you jump. Still, the man said nothing, simply gazing out at the sky. Surely he could hear Kano now. The detective continued, keeping his voice low and conversational. I've got a co-worker. He's one of the most absurdly devoted husbands you can meet. All he does is brag about his wife. The man continued to ignore him. He was stabbed in the belly earlier today. He's in the hospital right now, on death's door. He was happy, but now his life might get snatched away from him anyway. Still, the man appeared unmoved. It was as if the words weren't even reaching him. Don't you think it's a waste to just go and throw your own life away? Kano waited for the man to respond. The stranger took a purposeful stride away from the fence towards the roof's edge. Stop! Don't do it! The man unflinchingly stepped out toward the empty air. No. Kano sprang forward, somehow managing to grab hold of the stranger's wrist. He yanked the man back from the edge, getting only a blank stare in response. Don't go wasting your life like this. Ordinarily, Kano would have stayed and talked until he was sure the guy's death wish had passed. But there wasn't time for that right now. Maria was in just as much danger at that very moment. Wiping out his handcuffs, he shackled the man to the fence.
Huh?
Kano is so funny. I promise I'll come back. Please just stay alive for a few minutes longer, okay? Kind of left the man staring in bewilderment and raced back to the South Hill building. It's so funny. There he goes.
But we know Minoru, he most likely wasn't trying to commit suicide. He was trying to do something else.
Yeah.
But Kano just interpreted it that way.
Yeah. When he got back to the roof, no one was there. Kind of immediately tried to call
Well,
Tateno.
no shit! They're not gonna wait!
Yeah, but the call didn't go through. Tateno must have powered off his phone. Damn it! Where'd you go, detective? He needed to hear what Tateno had to say. He still had no idea what was really going on or what the grim truth might be, and it seemed he had just lost his chance to find out. In desperation, Kano rushed for the building. But in his frantic search of the area, he saw no sign of either Tateno or Maria. Later, a precinct-wide manhunt failed to discover where the two had gone. From that day forward, Kano was empty inside, carrying out his duties as a detective with bleak detachment. Bad end.
Did they check the water tank at all?
Yeah.
That's where they are.
Yeah.
When Kano caught sight of a man about to commit suicide, it was Minoru, obviously. He couldn't ignore the situation and impulsively rushed to the rescue, but lost track of Titania and Maria as a result. If Minoru hadn't turned up on that rooftop, Kano would have been able to focus on his primary mission.
Yeah.
So we've got to get Minoru.
So basically, we made the right choices. It's just
Yes.
Minorikawa that
Minoru was in the wrong place.
Yeah. So now we do Achi. So we heard that apparently, Stanley ended up taking in Hitomi. From what we heard. So we'll see probably that play out here in Achi's route. Achi could hear ambulance and police sirens wailing on the main road. He looked down at Hitomi, slumped on a park bench beside him. You sure you're not hurt? Offering her a bottle of water.
I'm okay.
Hitomi
Thanks.
took a sip from the bottle.
Thanks. I think I managed to calm down some.
Some of the color had finally returned to her face. So, inside that minivan.
Maria wasn't in there.
There was relief in her voice, but also a note of pathos.
I got a look in through the windshield. There was a man laid out in the back seat, but nobody else.
The dark cloud lifted from Achi's face. Yeah, who cares about some random dude? You don't care.
Yep. As long as it's not my sister,
Yeah.
yes.
So it wasn't your sister?
No, I didn't see his face. Just that he was wearing a business suit.
Achi felt the tension ebbing from his body. That's good then, that it wasn't her. I'd been worried. It was a shame about the poor devil who had been killed, though. Who was it? Why had he been there?
So I guess we're out of leads now.
We could try the surveillance center again for now. It'll probably give us better odds of finding your sister than just walking around.
I guess you're right. Shall we then?
Hold on. My house is a lot closer from here. Maybe I should ask my dad if we can check the cameras from home.
You can do that?
We have the same system at our house. I'm sure my dad will let us use them.
Oh, yeah.
The two got up and headed for Endo Electronics.
All I can associate that with now is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Heck yeah. Also, It just hit me. Going to Achi's house is probably not a good idea because Tateno knew Achi. I just remembered from the start of the game that Tateno knew Achi. So I feel like he would just know to look there. But, or maybe even has a connection with his dad.
Yeah, there's a... I'm not gonna say anymore.
Achi decided to let his father know they were coming. He turned on his phone as they walked along. He'd had it off for a while, so first he checked his voicemail. There was one message. Wondering who might have called, he played it back. Oh, what? Is this Achiendo's personal cell phone? This is Dr. Saeki from Shibuya Central Hospital.
Saichi Seiki, heart specialist and Suzune's attending physician, a preeminent surgeon who has successfully performed the Batista procedure, wherein the left ventricle is reconstructed after a third bit has been removed.
Oh, snap.
And then they get choke slammed to the floor.
Oh, snap.
For the human suplex.
That seems a bit counterproductive. Achi's expression stiffened.
Yeah, see?
Press the phone closer
sure
to
knows.
his ear. There's been a sudden change in Suzune's condition. I tried calling your home as well, but got no answer. That reminds me, I need to show you and Azure. There's like this video from a guy that I watch, Mr. Gigi, where he watched like this really bad action film that starred a wrestler. I don't remember which one, but it was one of the big ones. And it was pretty funny, and after I watched it, I was like, this will be perfect for Azure and Lulu.
Yeah, which one? Because there's multiple.
Yeah, I don't remember which one, but you'll see when I look up who it is. Like, when I show the video to you guys.
Okay.
Achi felt the edges of his vision growing dim. As her brother, it would be good if you could come to the hospital as soon as possible. It's...
Achi.
Hitomi's voice was full of concern. sorry. I just gotta make a call here. Fingers trembling, Achi dialed his house. The phone rang several times before switching over to the answering machine. Damn it, where the hell are you, Dad?
What's wrong?
It's Suzune. It sounds like things have gotten pretty bad.
Well then, we need to get to the hospital right away.
She sounded as anxious as Achi was. We can't go yet. First we have to save your sister. Hitomi bristled angrily at that.
What are you talking about?
She grabbed Achi by the arm and shook him.
Right now, you need to be thinking about your sister.
I can't. I made a promise to Suzune, a promise to help people and see things through to the end when something important is on the line. He struggled to get the words out. If I break that promise, then I really am no good to her. Daddy wasn't there to take me to the fair. Oof. I'm also thinking now, when I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see the marching band. But Hitomi didn't look like she was gonna back down. Oh, what the heck?
Oi! Get back here!
A threatening shout rung out from nearby. Achi looked around startled and saw a boy about high school age bolting out from behind a building on the side of the street. Several slightly older young men were hot on his heels. Achi knew their faces all too well. They were all members of SOS. They caught their quarry just before he could make it out onto the main road.
Gotcha, newbie.
So the kid they were after must have been a member too.
Go!
Hanashite!
Oh, we'll let you go, alright. After you pay up.
When the young men snatched the boy by the collar and shoved him against the wall of a nearby building. This group has really fallen after Achi left.
Yep.
It's become just a regular street gang.
Yeah. Oh, what are you talking about? I'm learning. Playing dumb, huh? We told you that members all have to pay monthly dues, yeah? The privilege you're getting to call yourself SOS don't come free after all.
Achi felt his blood boil. SOS was trying to pull a shakedown on his new kid under the guise of calling it dues.
Slang for extortion, a full-fledged crime. Naturally, the direct shakedown, give me all your money punk, is quite unpleasant. Cracking open a cold one, but more roundabout ways of being shaken down can still leave a bad taste in one's mouth. Someone who's surrounded on the street by 8 people in pompadours who said, "Beg your pardon, but could you please hand over your money?" might suffer no physical harm, but would still be the victim of shakedown.
Amazing.
No matter how polite they are.
Yeah. Crack open a cold one, exactly. It's a bubbly.
Yeah.
A bubbly. Drinking a little bit bubbly.
A little bit bubbly.
Exactly. It's Bellini Bliss is what this flavor is, which is a mixture of peach, pineapple, and mango.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. It would have been unthinkable for them to do something like this back when Achi was running the show. Hey.
This is Achi, I think. Yeah.
Hey. Oh my god, where did his voice go?
I don't know.
Hey, let the kid go.
Say what now?
They turn to look, their faces immediately going pale.
Oh, hey Archie.
Let him go. Archie focused his glare on the fellow holding the kid until he released his grip. You guys always go around doing stuff like this? None of the gang members answered. They merely turned their gazes glumly to the ground. Hey! Since when have they been doing this? But of course he realized there was no way the newbie would be able to tell him. Never mind. You can go. And she gestured toward the main road. The boy was quick to run off. Archie waited until the boy was gone before turning back to the others. Does Suzumu know you're going around collecting dues like this?
Man, I don't got to tell you that. Not since you deserted.
What'd you just say? Archie leaned in real close, getting right in the guy's face. He was met with a defiant sneer.
This ain't... No, I think this is you.
No, this I think is one of the kids.
Okay. This ain't the old SOS anymore.
Not the old SOS. Archie thought back to the other gang member he'd run into earlier, with the malicious gleam in his eyes. That guy. Pretty sure he said his name was Kiryu? Back when Archie had been with SOS, he'd never let a guy like that get away with acting all high and mighty. Suddenly, Archie heard a voice from behind him.
I can't remember who voiced Yuzumu. Or is this Kiryu? Either way, it's you.
I'm sure. Well, well, if it ain't our legendary founder. An instant later, he took a hard blow to the side of the head. Heh, I was out looking for some small fry, but looks like I landed me a big one. Oh no! Archie's head swam, his vision fading in and out. Before he had a chance to recover, something smashed into his knee. Can't believe Archie's dead.
Yep.
He lay crumbled on the ground, unable to retaliate as kicks and punches rained down on him. Even after Archie could no longer move, the beating didn't stop. His ruptured eardrums could barely make out the sound of Hitomi screaming. Hitomi, run. With its final plea silenced before it reached his lips, Archie felt his consciousness battered away. Bad end.
I forgot just how much Archie just permanently dies.
Yeah.
Kiryu turned up out of nowhere and gave Archie a beat down with a piece of timber. But just before he attacked Archie, Kiryu had run into someone else. That person said something that changed what Kiryu did. The individual in question needs to say something different to ensure Kiryu doesn't go to Dogonzaga while Archie and Hitomi are there.
Oof.
And we don't know who that is, so
Yeah, not yet,
it
but we'll
could
get
be
there.
Minoru, to be honest.
Yeah, Minorikawa seems to be like the one that leads to everybody's bad ends. Whatever he does
Yeah,
is like...
he is involved in a lot of bad ends.
Yeah. He's like the main one that leads to everybody's bad ends.
Just before...
Oh, sorry.
I was about to say that just before we start this, I want to go and get food out of the oven, so I will be back to read this in a second, okay?
Okie doke, no worries.
So just walk to the chat for a little bit.
Yeah, no worries. Get some good foods. But, I still wanna. I still wish I knew what the T-shirt that Maria wears says. All we can read is UT head, and that's it. And I want to know what the rest is. Hi, Azure. No, I can't believe Lulu's about to eat Azure. You hate to see it. Lulu's the grandma from the old witch from the Hansel and Gretel story. It says honkin'. Yeah, I guess. Wait, actually, let me see. I'm gonna try looking it up. Hit. Oh wait, not Hitomi. Maria. Osawa. T-shirt.
Back.
Welcome back. I'm trying to find the T-shirt that Maria is wearing.
Get out of me with them.
I'm still looking.
I'll just read this out while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I walked out to the throng of people heading towards the scene of the explosion.
Aw, snap. Wow. We just can't. Nothing ever shows enough of the T-shirt. I want to know what this T-shirt says.
Yeah, I don't think we ever see her without that jacket, so.
Yeah. What does the T-shirt say? No. Nothing is. Nobody knows.
I guess you could search for a UT head.
Yeah, I guess a T-shirt. UT head.
Because it does look like some poorly translated English, so.
Yeah. Oh! So people said that it probably says, go down, smoking MJ, RUT head. So it's about smoking weed. The explosion happened in Shibuya-ku, Jinan-1-chom, near the intersection of Koen-dori and Oregon Hill.
There's a gun pressed against my back, leaving me no choice but to continue marching forward. I don't have time for this right now. There's something I need to do. My frantic sense of urgency grows and grows. Nan. The only clue I have is that name. The other hazy snippets that have surfaced in my memory provide no answers. Please, just tell me. Do you know who I am? When the man with the cane doesn't answer, I stop in my tracks. I'm going to start shouting. You voice him this time.
Oh, okie doke. If you want to find out who you are, then do as I say.
The barrel of the gun jabs more forcefully into my back.
Once we find Hitomi Osawa, you'll remember whether you like it or not.
Guess I've no choice but to keep moving then.
Are your memories really that precious to you?
The man mutters as we move again. I'm taken aback by the question. Well, yes, isn't that pretty normal?
There's a bit of a pause before he replies, his voice sad and distant. No, Lulu, don't die!
Uh,
You're not going to remember just the good times, you know.
what do
Lulu!
you mean?
Are you okay?
Ow, just choking on food.
Oh no. Don't choke. I'll fight your esophagus.
Please do.
Bless you. I mean, that's.
What? Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I already said the line, so.
I mean that sad and painful memories are going to resurface too.
I guess I hadn't really thought about that. But still, whatever kind of memories they are all a part of me. I'm the person I am now because of the sorrow and pain too. Mm-hmm. I want to remember. I want to remember who I am. The good man directs me dispassionately along a series of quiet side streets.
Right here.
I stop at his words. In front of us is an old multi-tenant office building. We ride the elevator to the 8th floor, then use the emergency exit to take the stairs up to the rooftop. A cool breeze blows across my cheek.
Sit down there.
I do as he says, settling myself on the outdoor air conditioning unit. The man lowers his gun but keeps it in hand.
We'll wait here for a bit.
For how long? She lets out a rueful chuckle.
Guess we'll have to wait and see.
I decide there's no point trying to fight with him. For now, I just hope he's telling the truth, but it was coming will help me get my memories back. If I don't know my past, how can I know what to do about this command stuff or anything else? I stare up at the sky as I wait for whatever this assassin's waiting for. The silence between us is suffocating. Finally, I can't take it any longer. Hey, so I think this is yours. I held out the notebook earlier. The last surprise is playing on his face.
Where'd you get that?
I saw the picture inside. He
No, Lulu.
snatches the book out of my hand. Then he flips through it looking sad. I'm afraid that another agonizing silence is about to descend when he speaks at last.
This is a picture of me and my childhood friends. They'll never see us coming, doot doot. Oh, I wonder if he was like childhood friends with Achi's dad or something. Maybe that's how he knows Achi, is because he was like childhood friends with his dad.
His voice is low and quiet.
We were inseparable back when we were kids. The boy here, he liked to fiddle with machines, always doing things like taking apart radios and whatnot and putting them back together. Yeah, that sounds like Achi's dad. He was a total bookworm too, so he got picked on a lot. But I was always there to save him from the bullies.
All of a sudden, the guy's in a sharing mood, I guess. I can feel his aura of murderous rage starting to abate.
The girl here was the same age as us, but she felt more like a big sister. Whatever stupid things my other friend and I got up to, she was always willing to laugh it off. I don't know. I feel like maybe the middle option seems correct. Like, what was her name? I have no idea. My decision paralysis once again hitting real hard. Or actually, no. Maria seems like the type to say this, actually.
So, was this some kind of love triangle?
Get well soon, Onion.
Well, okay then. Guess I'm the nosy sort. The man grimaces but nods.
Oh, snap. She was right. When we were in high school, she told me that she liked me, so the two of us started dating.
And what about the other boy? The man casts his eyes down but doesn't answer.
He was in love with her too. Oh wait, no, that's you.
He was in love with her too, wasn't he?
I wound up breaking up with the girl and he was furious with me for it.
The man carefully slips the notebook into the pocket inside the jacket.
I'm incapable of making other people happy.
Why is that?
Because that's the sort of person I am.
He lets out a little chuckle, then stands up and brushes the dust off his pants. He looks strangely lonely.
Oh! Hey, keep out. I wonder if the jump from earlier... No, that wouldn't make sense. Let's go tell Osawa then. Hey.
I don't want to know how people feel. All I want to know is what viruses feel. I prefer viruses because they make no move to encroach on me from the other side of the microscope. Fair. They leave me free to let my thoughts wander as I wish. And while it may be true to say I understand viruses, I have never been able to understand my fellow humans. I don't know them. I don't know a single fundamental thing about them. With Tanaka dead, trying to use the backup password to the fingerprint scanner had become a hopeless endeavour. The only remaining means of gaining entry to the storage area was to issue an emergency unlock request to the electronic lock manufacturer. In order to do that, they needed approval from the 6 members of the board of directors. Returned to his study, Osawa called Makino's personal cell phone.
Was I Makino? What is it?
Well, I said gruffly as soon as he picked up. Osawa informed him of the situation, including Tanaka's death, and the fact that Maria is infected. The Luz left Makino at a loss for words. Please, you need to hold an emergency board meeting. Makino was silent for a few moments.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Why not? Are you just gonna sit by and let my daughter die? And not just her. Maria goes symptomatic. If Maria goes symptomatic, that was only an if, but Osawa was reluctant to put his fear into words. If she goes symptomatic, the Yule virus will sweep through all of Tokyo.
I realize that, but one of the board members is overseas on business. Holding a meeting is impossible.
Despite the gravity of the situation, he sounded astoundingly nonchalant.
That's rich people for you.
Yep.
They don't care about other people. Because
Osawa couldn't back down now.
He's probably like, oh, it won't bother for me because I have my condo and I can do everything remotely. So it doesn't matter if everybody else dies. I don't care.
It'll only affect me if it affects my family members.
Yep.
And even then, there must be some other option, like a web conference or something.
That doesn't help us if we can't get in touch with him. He went missing a few days ago in the middle of his business trip. Oh, and another thing that this guy up top probably did. The bad guy. The head of Akoshi Pharmaceuticals' New York branch has been missing since April 25th, 9 p.m. local time. There have been no demands for a ransom, and so the New York Police Department is investigating the possibility of some other form of foul play.
I was almost too appalled to be angry. That's the most ridiculous lie I've ever heard.
Would you like to speak to my on-site contact if you don't believe me?
This was like arguing with a child. If Makino was deliberately working against him, he'd never know if this disappearance was real or not. In that case, can you please appoint a representative instead?
Selecting a representative is a complicated process. Even if we started it right now, it would take until sometime tomorrow afternoon to complete. Bureaucracy!
Tomorrow afternoon?
It's like, these are specific circumstances, dude. I think people would be fine with you bending the rules for this scenario. Otherwise, millions of people will die.
Yes, for fuck's sake. By then, it would be too late for any of this to matter. Sir, can't you see how absurd the things you're saying are?
What would you have me do? These are the realities of corporate politics. I'm pretty sure none of that matters when everyone's gonna die.
I understand, sir. You will do nothing for my daughter. That's what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
Look, I'll
see what I can do to appoint a representative more quickly.
He hung up. His tone had suggested that waiting for an appointee wouldn't be a terribly hopeful prospect.
Yeah, at this point it might be better just to take like a bulldozer and bulldoze your way into the facility.
I have no more allies. All I have left now, foes.
He really is. Osawa, it's okay. I'll give you a big hug. We'll get through this. You still have Kajiwara. Kajiwara is your friend. You know what? Osawa should just go ahead and do it. He should. Or probably not, actually. That's probably a bad idea now that I'm thinking about it. He's just gonna have to go and bulldoze his way in. Yeah, there's no way he could do it, I'm guessing. I just, why is every choice so hard?
4, 3, 2, 1. Pick now. Still, he'd have to take Makino as his word. Right now, that was his only course of action. Osawa sat down in front of his computer and quietly closed his eyes. If only I could just go to sleep and wake up tomorrow and find all of this resolved. All I'm asking for is a miracle. But he knew reality would never be so kind. He could close his eyes shut as long as he wanted, and it wouldn't make this hopeless situation go away. He felt the anxiety welling up inside him until it seemed like he was going to explode. I feel that.
Yep.
Needing distraction from his helplessness, Osawa opened up Anya. He knew this was no escapism, but he couldn't just sit and do nothing while waiting for Makino to call back. Posting a new topic with the title, Aya Fortune Teller. I tried the Aya Fortune Teller. My results basically said I was a bad person who can't connect to the people around me.
No, it did not. Again, his pessimism. I actually thought it was pretty insightful, weirdly enough,
Yeah.
the thing that he got. Like, it basically said that you struggle with that, and if you don't, like, work on it, you're gonna have problems down the line.
You're gonna have a bad time, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that
Doesn't
was...
mean that you're a bad person.
Yeah, it just means, like, that's something you need to work on, and we all have those areas that we need to work on.
Yeah. And you know what? That's exactly right.
No, my man. It's okay. Lulu? I can't believe Lulu died. You hate to see it. Oh no.
Oh, you hear me?
Yeah, now I hear you.
I don't even know what happened. I'm only interested in my own little world. That's probably why my wife and my assistant at work got so fed up with me and banged.
No. Well, I mean, they also were like that was more like complicated of a situation than just
Yes, I know.
fault.
I know.
Again, this is his pessimism and whatnot.
Yes, I know.
You need better people in your life.
Yeah, for real. It's the same with my two daughters. What sort of things are they interested in? I have no idea. Do they have a lot of friends? God, this guy types like you. What are their aspirations for the future? I don't know any of those things. It never even occurred to me to find out. I'm such a terrible father. Now you know that about yourself, you can turn it around.
Yeah, now that you know, you can.
Well, once you save them, yeah.
Yeah.
Osawa's fingers ceased their tapping on the keyboard as he thought back to when Maria and he told me we younger.
Oh, they're so
No,
cute!
they're so cute.
I want to pinch their cheeks. They're so cute.
Daddy! Daddy! The two girls were following around like a pair of puppies. Their father was their everything. That much was clear just by looking at their faces. He'd found ticklish giddiness at having his girls cling to him so.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would.
I is not that loving, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So to me, I would say again, like him being pessimistic. Like he has his problems as a father, but I don't think he was like. Saying he was a terrible father is probably taking it too far. He was definitely more apathetic than he probably should have been. But the fact that he cares so much about his kids, like, showcases the fact that he's not a terrible father. It's kind of like the idea of, like, if you're worried about that kind of stuff, then you're probably not that kind of person because that kind of person wouldn't care or even think about it.
Instead of being like, oh, this is affecting my daughter, he would be more like, oh, this is going to affect 1 million people.
Yeah, yeah.
Rather than, oh my god, my child is going to die painfully from this virus I created.
Yeah, like, and this
because of other people.
Yeah, and, like, the fact that, like, this isn't even him, like, having, like, character development. It was shown that even before, like, all of the stuff that happened in the game that has led him to realize more things about himself, he's already cared about his daughters and the fact that he literally risked everything to get that cure for Hitomi, like as soon as he found out that something was wrong
Yeah,
with Hitomi. And like, yeah, he doesn't express the like those feelings and stuff like a lot of other people do, but it's definitely still there, and he still cares very deeply for them.
he is how people generally like this is literally the form of autism that people generally think is the
Yeah,
thing. um
yeah, yeah,
where people don't show their emotions or whatever when it's purely that they do have them, it's just not expressed in the same way.
yeah. Well, and I feel like a big part of why he has like the things he does is kind of because of the type of environment that he's grown up in. Like the fact that he's in like this unfeeling corporate world and stuff as
Yep.
well has definitely not helped in him learning how to properly express his emotions and connect with other
Like,
people.
I don't think we get to know much about his parents, but they were very emotionless as well.
Yeah.
So, for him to have these kinds of reactions to his daughters and to care about them is like breaking a long cycle.
Yeah.
Um, he never felt anything like it in his life because, you know, they marry him off to this woman that he knows nothing about, and they didn't get along either, because she was still in love with her ex. And yeah, so
Yeah.
apart from that, his daughters are literally the closest human connection he's had in his life. And
Yep.
now he's at major risk of just losing all of that.
Yeah. Losing both of them.
But there were times where he also found it tiresome. Oh yeah, the best parents can still be like, I need a break. It's when you don't take care of your child at all or leave it to someone else, then there's an issue.
Yeah.
I am sick of being the person I am. There's nothing I can do about that, though I'm sure it's far too late for me to change.
It's never too late.
He poured out all his negative emotions into his post. It felt like stream of consciousness drivel, but he didn't hesitate to write it all down all the same. He wanted other people to know what a miserable excuse for a human being he was. At last, when he couldn't think of anything else to add, he posted his bitter confession to the forum. He was staring numbly at the monitor when he heard a furious shout from the next room.
You have got to be kidding me! Oh wait, no, it was Kajiwara. Oh my god, I was expecting I.
You right?
Um, what was Kajiwara's voice again? I think it was similar to Ai's, but just not as usually high pitched.
Yeah.
Um,
More mysterious and jolly kind of voice.
yeah.
Osawa headed into the living room and found Kajiwara embroiled in a vehement argument with the other detectives.
I don't care what HQ's policy is. I will not just quietly go along with this.
Kajiwara had already screamed himself red in the face. You're out of line.
Kiichi Sawatari, with the Metropolitan Police Department's first criminal investigation section. Having heard of Kajiwara's past deeds through friends at the Shibuya precinct, he recommended to his boss that Kajiwara be assigned to the investigation at the Osawa residence. After seeing the detective's interactions with Osawa, he is confident that his recommendation was in the right. However, given the circumstances, he can't help but take a cold stance towards Kajiwara.
Hold your tongue.
I don't care if I'm out of line.
Mere talent, I'll give you that. But you're a precinct detective. This isn't your jurisdiction. It's not your place to question orders from higher up. Wait, or so I thought. Kajiwara really is a real detective after all? Yes!
Yes.
Go on. Explain the situation to Mr. Osawa. Kajiwara bit his lip in frustration at the other detective's order.
Very well.
But before he could say it anymore, Osawa noticed that the police equipment had all been cleared off of the table. Hold on. What's going on? Has something happened?
Allow me to explain, sir.
His bitterness showed plain in his face.
We've been recalled, sir. The MPD has established a security force headed by members of its Public Security Bureau to deal with the bioterrorist threat. Because the kidnapping task force has not yet found Maria, and she is infected with the virus, the task force personnel have instead been absorbed into the security force and will continue their work under its direction.
Happens a lot. Osawa narrowed his eyes, fighting to keep the confusion from his face. What do you mean by that? He was shaking, terrified to have his suspicions confirmed.
I'm truly sorry, sir. Like, between this game and, Collar X Malice, it's kind of interesting to see, like, how the police system works in Japan. Like, I feel like I've learned a lot about how the system works through both this game and through Collar X Malice, which is really funny that I've learned it from visual novels.
If you play Yakuza, you will learn a lot more as well.
Yeah. I'm truly sorry, sir, for having been unable to help you.
Kajiwara gave a deep and solemn bow. But Maria... What's going to happen to Maria?
Another unit has been tasked with bringing your daughter into custody, sir.
That much at least Osawa could process. You're going to place her into quarantine, aren't you? Kajiwara's lips stiffened, but he nodded.
In order to minimize the spread of the virus, so I'm told.
No! You can't do that! If you do, there won't be any way to save her! His head spun. Please, I beg of you. You need to get Maria to me. I may be able to save her. When Kajiwara didn't respond, he turned to the other detectives. Please. Don't you... You can't place Maria into quarantine. The detectives' only answer was to avert their eyes. Why are you all ignoring me? Please, you have to listen. If you bring her to me, I can figure something out. I know I can. He plunked himself down on the floor, yelling and flailing his arms like a child throwing a tantrum. See, this is the trolley problem, and this is why I make the train run over as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's stupid, arbitrary shit.
Yeah.
The detectives exchanged sullen looks with one another, and then walked off and left him there.
Yeah, the right option is always to try and save everybody or save nobody. That's the real thing. You don't try and say, oh well, one person gotta sacrifice the one to save the many. No, frick that. Every person is valid and important. I will save everybody
dies
or nobody. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's
So
what
we're
I
gonna
do.
two-track it. We're gonna do the trolley so that it goes both wheels on both tracks and it skids down the line.
Yep. The detectives exchanged sullen looks with one another, then walked off and left him there. He knew he must be a sorry sight, but nevertheless he kept shouting after them. Please, don't stand by and let my daughter die. Well, see, if we brought Maria and Hitomi together and give each other the blood, then maybe each other would be saved. But
Yeah. But everybody's stupid.
yes, only Kajiwara remained with him in the living room.
I'm sorry, sir. This was beyond my ability to stop.
He gave another apologetic bow. Isara felt suddenly deflated. No, you've done a fine job, Detective Kajiwara. It's me you should be sorry. I made such a graceful display of myself.
Well, you're about to lose your daughter. I feel like pretty much anybody who is, actually a good parent would be the same.
Yes.
That's not true, sir. In fact, I'm deeply moved. I can tell how much Maria must mean to you.
Isara shook his head. If I'd really been thinking about Maria, I would have made an effort to work with you detectives more. That was all just self-absorbed shouting. A moment of emotional selfishness.
And yet, as a result, you convinced me to stay here with you.
Kajiwara proceeded to pull out his phone and put on a request with the task force headquarters to remain at the Usawa residence.
Oh my gosh, Kajiwara! The real MVP!
Yeah.
He's so good. Our biggest Tomodachi, our possible future husband. Let's go.
He got into a heated spat with his commanding officer, but ultimately received permission to stay on as the police liaison with Usawa.
Heck yeah. I wonder if he talked to Kuze and in the end was able to get him to relent.
Yeah.
Well, you see, there are some people who are legitimately moved by a parental display of emotion, even if I'm not certain that I can do very much in staying here with you.
That's not true. There's plenty you've been helping with. He looked into Kajiwara's face and smiled. For instance, we're going on a heist.
I can have a banana whenever I want.
I'm.
You know what? I'm saying that. I can have a banana whenever I want.
I can have a banana whenever I want. Kajiwara returned Usawa's grin even more brightly.
Yes, of course. By all means, have as many as you like.
He then produced a pair of bananas from his pocket, handing one to his companion.
Where's he keeping all those bananas?
You don't want to know.
Yeah, he finally ate the banana!
Usawa peeled his banana and took a hearty bite.
Oh, and it's also, it all connects as well because just like in the shot before with him and Kajiwara is sitting in the place where I was in that shot. It's all parallel structure.
They're even eating with opposite hands.
Oh, snap! You're right! Oh my god! They're meant to be! They're soulmates! They're soulmates!
He has a true friend because Kajiwara was married.
No!
The mild sweetness was pleasant and soothing. And so is Osawa, by the way. Still married.
We don't count that. It's fine.
Well, it was the flavour that brought back memories. I often eat bananas when I go to the park with my daughter. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. I often eat bananas when I go to the park with my daughter.
Edgeware muttered between mouthfuls. I didn't realize you had a daughter, detective. I almost said detective. I didn't realize you had a detective daughter.
Heck yeah. She just started grade school this year.
Oh, really? She must be adorable.
Well, I don't get to see her as much as I'd like.
A lonely sort of smile crossed Edgeware's face. From one deadbeat dad to another.
Heck yeah.
What's that?
Doing this job caused me to neglect my family. Finally, about 2 years ago, my wife hit me with the divorce. Oh! Oh! It's okay! They can marry! Let's go! Let's go! Yeah! Love wins, baby!
The ship.
Let's go! Me being so happy about divorce. Yeah! You got divorced! Let's go! Hooray! Finally, about 2 years ago, my wife hit me with the divorce paperwork. I wanted to be able to keep our daughter with me, but, well, the law tends to favor the mother when it comes to custody issues.
Oh, more like they favor the parent who will actually be around for their child,
Yeah.
which you didn't seem to be, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The detective then pulled 2 bars of chocolate from his pocket.
Though,
They want a more stable environment for the child.
well, but there does seem to be a bit of a bias towards the idea that
There
the
is,
mother
yeah.
will well, it's like, it reminds me again of like how the Silent Hill movie ended up changing the main character to a woman because the guy mentioned that apparently dad would never love their kid as much as a mother could, and I feel like
Which
that
really
mindset
reflected on him, to be honest.
Yeah, yep. But it goes to show that there is kind of like this mentality that, of course, a mother would love their kid. Of course, a mother would take care of their kid. But in reality, that's not actually the case. There's plenty of dads that love their children just as much as moms. And
there's plenty of mothers that will leave their children to go do something else.
Yeah.
Or abuse them.
Yeah.
So
and
it works both ways.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
with anything. Amazing.
Yeah, like the idea of, I think an important thing about, fighting for equality and stuff is to realize that statements can be true for both sides, both good and bad. Like, it really depends on the individual person rather than, like, whatever their innate, like, gender, sex, or whatever.
Yeah. Like, there are so many cases of teachers hitting on their students, going under the radar if it's a female teacher hitting on a male student.
Yep.
Because it's seen as something to be praised rather than ew.
Yeah.
Ew, predator, ew.
Yeah. Or even just in general, like, there's a lot of women preying on men and abusing men and raping men, but they usually never get much repercussions because it's seen as like, oh, the guy, like, that was a good thing for the guy because guys always want to have sex and always are ready to have sex and would love to have women all the time and things like that, when in reality that's not true at all.
Just, like, people really need to realize that anatomy doesn't work the way that you want it to.
Yeah.
Just because you get erect doesn't mean you want this to happen.
Yeah.
It's just your body just reacting to it.
Yeah.
If, like, you will get wet when you're being raped.
Yeah.
Like, you will get an erection. It's just your body reacting anyway, even though you don't want it to react that way.
and it's and it can be even more confusing and traumatizing for the person or for the victim after the fact as well because of that.
Yeah. Well, and
And
also,
I've known some people that it has affected. So
yeah. Well, and it's also again, it's the idea that the problems with sexism go both ways, and it doesn't just hurt the women involved, but the men too. In that, a lot of guys, like, their struggles and pain in that area are usually invalidated because men are often seen as, like, stronger than women, and thus, oh, you couldn't have been, like, taken over by or used by a woman because you're inherently stronger or whatever, when that the
yeah,
reality is not like that at all. And that has led to a lot of guys, like, being mistreated because of that. And, like, it's shown even in, like, media. Like, that's one of the main things that always made me mad about Persona 5, is that a lot of the, like, female characters, like, their like, experiences with, like, the male people in power, like, abusing their authority, is, like, treated as valid, but the same is not given to the male minors. Like,
yes,
Ryuji and Mishima and even the main character and Yusuke, like, they all should have been seen as just as much having been used and abused, just like An was, but they're not, even though they went through a lot of the same experiences, which again showcases the inherent sexism involved, of basically showing that you're only feeling sad and sorry for those characters, not because they as individuals, like, were hurt, like seeing An and Shiho as individuals that were hurt, but just, oh, they're women, so they were inherently weaker just because they're women.
because you have it in the first place where Arn is being picked up by what's his face?
Kamoshida?
Kamoshida, and instead of people questioning it, they just are like, "Oh, is she dating Kamoshida?" kind of thing. Is she getting with Kamoshida? Whatever else, instead of being like, why is she getting in the car? Why
Yeah.
is this happening?
Yeah.
Why, like, just because she's beautiful and whatever else, it doesn't mean that she's using her wiles. Like, it's that whole thing of people be immediately asking what someone was wearing. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
People will touch children in diapers.
Yeah.
Like elderly people in diapers, for that matter. Like, it doesn't matter what you're wearing or whatever else you're doing. Anyone can be a victim,
Yeah.
and you are not helping anybody by having that assumption.
Yeah. And
But
there's also the idea of, like, there's no such, like, there's people are constantly always trying to look for the quote unquote perfect victim. But the idea is there's no such thing as a perfect victim. Like, we all make mistakes. We all have done, like, things in our lives, except maybe, like, a baby. Like, a baby would be the perfect victim. But that's it.
uh,
Otherwise, like, you don't have perfect victims. Like, people are gonna, make mistakes, but just because, like, they've done those things does not make them any less of a victim of those situations. Like, it doesn't
yeah,
matter
like
where that person has come
it's
from. That doesn't stop them from being a possible victim.
like that's how serial killers like Jack the Ripper and like other people are able to keep going on for so long because they target prostitutes.
Yeah.
Well, they target sex workers.
Yeah.
And just like because they know that the police just simply won't touch it.
Yeah.
And that's how they get away with it for so long, and it's just this is making me angry. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's keep going. You're not you when you're hungry. Have a Snickers.
Yes. Osara took one but said nothing.
More recently, my ex-wife has been talking about getting remarried, and she wants me to stop seeing our daughter.
He bit into his own chocolate bar with a soft snap.
It's no less than I deserve, but it still hurts.
You still deserve to see your child.
Yeah. Like, it's not like you were just, like, a workaholic, which, you know, wasn't great, but that's not you, like, especially if you want to change and, like, spend more time with her. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's such an issue though, is that there's the people who want to be with their children but aren't allowed by the other side, and then there's people who want their ex-partner to be involved in their child's lives, but that ex-partner just isn't interested.
Yeah.
And the only thing they see from that ex-partner is like a paycheck at the end of the day, if they can even get that as well. So it's all up in the air. Osawa couldn't help but sympathize. The man was losing his daughter. Well, not permanently.
Yeah.
He was someone he could really talk to. He was sure of that much now. Detective, I apologize. I've kept things from you because I was worried they involved classified corporate information.
Oh?
Kachira's eyes glimmered with interest. Early today I received some email. It could be pertinent to the case.
Would you mind letting me see them?
Isao shook his head. On the contrary.
Yeah, this is the problem, you rich people, corporate people. When you lose people's trust and faith in you, they'll stab you back.
Yup. Like, that's a problem with businesses as a whole, with corporations, is that they will use and abuse people because they think they can throw money at it. But as soon as you literally abandon someone in the dust and they have collected a lot of information on you, you have no longer have any leg to stand on.
Yeah.
You kept them around by paying them off and whatever else, but as soon as you abandon them, they no longer have anything to lose.
Yeah.
And that's your biggest mistake.
Yep.
Back in front of his computer, Isawa saw that Anya was still open. Pretty Honey responded to his forum post. I wonder who that is.
Yep, we know.
We discovered who that was last time, yeah.
Yep, we know. You know what? We should read it. Because I think he'll probably have something to say, since he's also a father with a daughter who also struggled with, like, his work and all that. Like, he's another father in this game that would understand. We have, like, the father with daughters trio here.
Yeah. One moment. Let me read this. Isawa read the response. I got that same result. Do you really think it's too late? Don't give up hope, hang in there. It's never too late. Every family has its share of problems. Like, you'll never find one that doesn't, I'm sure. When it comes to family, there's no such thing as game over until they're dead. So don't let it get you down, Julie. Besides, I did learn one thing from reading your post. At the end of father's happiness is a daughter's happiness. Which my dad's never really understood, so
Aww.
Kajiwara peered into the monitor.
Big hugs, Lulu. A young girl is posting to a forum for people 40 and older?
It's pretty honey. She always replies to my threads. Sorry to growl.
Kajiwara is like, I see.
Something the matter?
No, that last line there just has me curious is all. A young girl writing something like that. Well, that's neither here nor there right now. Let me see those emails if you would.
Yeah, that's not a young girl.
No.
Osawa opened his email. He pulled up the images of the human testing on the monitor.
What is this?
Kajiwara stared at the monitor as if unable to look away.
These are images from the unauthorized clinical testing of an antiviral drug I developed, carried out by my company without my knowledge.
Images of a... I'm sorry, what was that?
Detective frowned at the unfamiliar terminology.
In simple terms, the antiviral is a wonder drug to combat the Eurovirus.
Hold on, Maria's infected with the virus, isn't that right?
Yes, Ua is a species of virus discovered in South Africa relatively recently. Roughly 12 hours after infection, patients develop a cough, then a fever, then begin vomiting, and ultimately beginning to bleed uncontrollably from all over, resulting in death. The mortality rate is...
Osawa was reluctant to say it. Kajiwara held his breath, awaiting.
It's nearly 100%.
Kajiwara shuddered.
But wait, if you have this wonder drug, then Maria...
Osawa shook his head.
Without Tanaka, I have no means of getting out of the lab.
Kajiwara's frown deepened.
I see. It may not be much to go on, but I think we could put together at least one piece of our little mystery here. Something difficult or impossible to explain, an enigma. You see plenty of books titled The Mystery of Such and Such, or The Secret of Whatever on bookstore shelves, but when you read them, you're invariably disappointed by the mystery not being that mysterious after all. Pardon me one moment.
Kajiwara inspected the email address of the sender A, then brought up the mail header.
You don't see email address like this much. It's seemingly from a foreign country, but that may be fake.
You could tell that just from the email?
Yes. The detective flashed a low grin.
Take a look here. So if we just do this, and then this...
Flingers. His fingers flew over the keyboard, calling up the header details. Singling out the received from field.
This set of 4 numbers at the bottom is the sender's IP address. Think of it as an ordinarily hidden location marker of sorts.
Mm-hmm. As he spoke, the detective pulled up a website called IP Station. IP. He copied and pasted the set of 4 numbers and pressed the enter key. The monitor showed the name of the provider, connection method, and other such details.
A vendor that provides an internet connection service. A typical internet connection requires a dedicated line. Customers who do not already have one must make a contract for one with the provider. When the provider establishes your connection to the internet, you are assigned an identifying number called an IP address.
Osawa couldn't make heads or tails of the most of it, but one thing drew his eye. Access point Shibuya Ward, Tokyo. Kajiwara went into the email program's options, checked the server info for Osawa's connection. Deep furrows formed in his forehead.
This is the same provider that you use, Mr. Osawa. So it's either I or Tanaka or I guess somebody from the company.
What does that mean? Inside of the house.
What kind of internet connection do you have here at your house?
What's up? Well, it's plugged in over there, but...
Asara pointed at the router.
So it's either
Router.
I or Tanaka, or it could be like somebody from the company came in and used it from the house too. And does everyone in your family use that same line?
Yes, I think so.
Katsura opened up a command prompt, then typed ipconfig.
A literal prompt for users to issue computer control commands via keyboard instead of mouse. Also frequently used to refer to the window or program allowing for such.
Yes.
Okay, so if the same numbers we saw before pop up here, that's a bad sign.
Oh?
Asara stared at the monitor. Yeah, because that means it came from inside. Katsura pressed enter and a black window covered in alphanumeric characters appeared.
What the heck?
Katsura muttered under his breath.
Wait, what's going on? Explain simply so that I can understand.
Faking an email address is simple enough, but the typical person wouldn't be able to fake an IP. It's very likely that these emails were sent from another computer inside this house.
Asara had to stifle a gasp.
Yeah, either Tanaka or I, probably.
The emails had been sent from his own house at around 11 o'clock that morning. Since Asara hadn't sent them himself, that left only one possible culprit.
Yeah.
No, it's two.
Yeah, it could have been Tanaka, but I guess who cares?
Tanaka could have sent it from I's computer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Suddenly his phone rang, nearly startling him out of his seat. Makino's name showed up on the incoming call display. Asara quickly picked up.
Is there an update on the emergency board meeting?
He blurted. Makino's voice was quiet and subdued.
I tried pulling whatever strings I could, but to no avail. I'm afraid holding a board meeting today just won't be possible.
What a load of fuck.
Yeah.
The phone fell from Asara's hand. His only possible means of saving Maria was now gone. It's not.
Yeah, Osawa, please. Oh, we're at the end for him already. Oh, snap.
Yep.
We hit the end of the line. It seems this chapter may not be as long as some of the others, because I feel like we're close to the end for the other characters as well. Like, once we clear up a bit, we'll probably get to the end pretty fast. There we go! Whee!
Okay, if you can please
do the
narrator, because his voice killed me.
Yeah, Minorikawa needed to get back to the editing office right away, but despite the urgency, he barely stumbled along. He was swaying on his feet, only half aware of where he was even going.
No, this is all some sick joke.
He just couldn't accept that Toyama was dead. He let out a lifeless sigh. A cynical smile crept onto his face.
The man always did insist on having his own way, but Kim himself.
Back when he was still a novice reporter, Minorikawa had written a piece about a middle school girl who committed suicide. The school had made a statement denying that bullying had been a factor, and so most of the media had reported that she had suffered a nervous breakdown over entrance exams.
A period of mental illness manifesting as panic disorder, stress-induced anxiety, or the like. The term is commonly used to refer to serious health health issues such as schizophrenia or bipolar disorder and manic depression, as well as the build-up of more minor stresses as part of everyday life. As it's so broadly and vaguely defined, it is generally avoided in psychiatric contexts.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But something about the case had kept nagging at him. Had her death really been a suicide? The more people he interviewed about the incident, the more his doubts grew. The city news editor, however, would not allow him to conduct a follow-up investigation, and the reason why was simple. This was the sort of thing that happened every day. They couldn't waste time on a case that was already on the books. It was more important for a reporter to find news stories than to squander time engrossed in a case that was old news. Minorikawa understood the editor's decision well enough. But that didn't mean he had to like it. He'd been sulking up on the roof, slowly nursing a cigarette, when the paper's local news copy editor, Toyama, happened to drop by.
A newspaper, an employee who evaluates the quality and suitability of a reporter's copy and coverage, effectively the boss of a group of reporters. However, the copy editor typically works under a section editor who has the final say about what makes the page. A middle management position caught between upstart reporters and an angry section chief.
Yeah, it's like, basically, they're the ones that look over a piece before, like, the main editor looks over the piece. Well,
yes.
Your piece goes through several editors. So, usually every department has, like, its own, like, head editor. And then there's also the copy editors that look over to make sure that it meets style standards. And then there's the editor-in-chief that's at, like, the very top that does, like, the final look-through. So, technically, if you have, like, a proper journalist environment, a piece should go through multiple people before it ever hits, like, the actual printed page.
And yet, somehow, misprinting still gets through.
Yeah, well, especially since how fast, like, people are trying to get stuff out there.
Oh, yeah. Like, you will write stuff every single day, so...
Yeah.
Oh, that was insane.
Did they say no to the follow-up interviews? About that girl's suicide?
The name of the girl who killed herself was Chiharu Fuyusuki. After reading her diary, Minorikawa became convinced it wasn't an ordinary suicide. 6 years from now, Minorikawa will run to a certain teacher, and the investigation into the student's death will be opened. But that's another story for another time.
Oh, I'm guessing
is that
the anime? Maybe? It might be the anime. We'll have to watch the anime at some point.
Yeah.
Minorikawa expelled a plume of his smoke along with his sigh. Nothing tasted quite as bad as a cigarette when he was down in the dumps. So what are you going to do?
I'm not gonna do anything. Editor told me no.
Oh, editor said not to? You sound like a child. The rebuff made Minorikawa's temper flare.
There are other interviews to do. I want to follow up on this, but there isn't any time.
You dumbass! Toyama hauled off and hit him right across the face. What happened to I write what I feel in my heart? That's the one thing I refuse to back down on. What happened to the guy who used to bitch at me like that? Toyama's words hit their mark with painful precision. The interviews aren't over until you have what you need. No, you refuse to let them be over. You go after the truth no matter what anyone tells you. Isn't that what being a journalist is all about? Minorikawa scowled in chagrin. The man was exactly right. until you have what you need. Those words had stuck with Minorikawa ever since. In fact, he'd quit the paper to become a freelancer because he couldn't do his job the way he wanted while trapped in that hierarchy. Now he wondered, what if Toyama hadn't killed himself, but had instead been the victim of a terrorist attack? But after considering the idea for a moment, he thought bitterly, so what? The reasons and the details hardly mattered at this point. What mattered was that Toyama was dead. Minorikawa sat down listlessly and stared up at the sky. The blank swathe of blue made him feel all the more worn out. Just what had all the days running around been for? He felt so empty, so hollowed out by loss. All his motivation had drained away. He had no idea what he should do next.
This is so not like you.
Yeah.
Hey, Minoru Minakawa. What should you do?
He tried to listen to his inner voice. This seems like the same.
Yeah.
Both of these seem like the same option. But I guess stand up. Right now you just need to forge ahead.
Stand up. Right now you just need to forge ahead.
Yeah, that was his only option, really. He couldn't just let things end like this. And he still didn't have what he needed for his articles, so Minorikawa took a deep breath, readying to get back on his feet. Before he could, however, a young man stumbled across his path, taking a nasty fall on the pavement. I don't know who this is. Ow, damn, it hurts. The youngster scrambled back to his feet and turned to Minorikawa with a snarl. Ew. Oh, it's one of these guys.
I think this is Kiryu.
Were you the one voicing Kiryu or me? I don't remember.
It was you.
What are you looking at, pal? The young man clutched a piece of timber like a club. There was a nasty gleam in his eyes.
I'm not looking at anything. I just happen to be looking in your direction.
Shut your yap. Apologize, bitch, now. The punk raised his cudgel? What
Cudgel.
the hell?
Cudgel.
Cudgel.
What?
You tricked me, man. Ain't you gonna apologize for that? The kid had stumbled all on his own, but was probably too embarrassed to admit it. Guess he's got to vent his anger at someone.
Listen, kid. It's not my fault you're such a klutz. You know, like the pedal in a car that's got a manual transmission? Oh, that's a clutch. Okay. So then, like, lumps of earth or clay, those are clods, you say? Right. So then we're talking about a sort of social get-together for coffee conversation, huh? Ah, right. That's it. Claps. Is it when you try to pick something using stuff that isn't really meant for that purpose? That's a clutch? Okay.
The hell you say to me? You got a death wish, pal? With a murderous glare, the punk advanced on him, brandishing his weapon.
Hey.
Oh, snap.
I doubt he'd say the middle one.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna stop from this.
I feel like Minorikawa would ask a question about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very much him.
Yes. There's a one hidden pea with that thing.
The corner of the punk's mouth curled up. Ah, yeah, real fun. Only a dumbass beats people with their bare hands. You just wind up hurting your fists. If you're gonna enjoy some violence, you gotta have yourself a weapon.
Ah, I see. In that case, maybe give it a rest for that streak, yeah?
Huh, what for? The punk scowled in irritation.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying there has to be better weapons than that. Something that could take a man down in a single blow.
The kid stopped to consider Minorikawa's words for a moment. I getcha, yeah, you might be right about that. And I think I have just the thing. May as well go with my usual. He tossed away the piece of wood on the side of the road. Don't go anywhere until I get back. Got it?
Yeah, sure thing, dumbass.
Minorikawa watched as the punk headed back the way he'd come. Yeah, there he
Man,
goes.
what a dumbass.
Looking around, he spotted a taxi parked close by.
Hey, it's a boy.
Hey! There he is. He's the best. It was Kimizuka.
Do you need a ride, sir?
Kimizuka asked, all politeness as he opened the back door. Oh wait, no, I was Kimizuka, because I remember I tried to do like a butler voice.
Yeah.
If you're heading to that publishing office again, I can get you there in 10 minutes. Kimizuka's driving was as smooth as always. He drove his way skillfully through a series of back streets. There was some big explosion earlier. The main roads are all gridlocked.
Yeah. I was there when it happened. I almost died.
Oh wow, really? I'm glad to see you're not hurt then. Still, what a terrible thing, that minivan. I hear someone was inside when it exploded. I'm not sure if you were aware.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Oh wait! Also, this helps Minorikawa that we said that Kano should send out the name. It helps because now Minorikawa is probably gonna hear that it was Tanaka, and so he's gonna be like, oh shoot, everything's all good actually.
Yep.
Oh, nothing gets past a reporter like you, I see. Kimizuka flashed Minorikawa an approving smile through the rearview mirror. How much have you heard then? Rumor has it the person who died was a middle-aged man.
Oh, huh.
We taxi drivers tend to hear quite a bit ourselves. Kimizuka chuckled, but Minorikawa just cast his eyes down forlornly. You look tired, sir.
Yeah, I guess so.
His reply was barely audible. Suddenly, someone rushed out onto the street right in front of the cab. Oh, whoa! What?
Hi, Archie.
Hi, Achi. Look out! Oh my god! I can't believe Achi freaking died. We're gonna have to send him a different direction probably now.
Yes.
Womp womp. Screeching to a halt, Kimizuka and Minorikawa jumped out of the vehicle to find a young man splayed out on the street. Hey, you alright? Nah, he's freaking dead. The fallen pedestrian was practically still a kid and he wasn't moving. Kimizuka hunkered down and jostled the shoulder, then his expression stiffened in alarm. Minorikawa checked the young man's pulse, but he couldn't detect any heartbeat. Oh no, Tears began to well up in his eyes. Minorikawa turned to him in surprise. I did. Kimizuka cradled the young man in his arms. I'm sorry, but you'll have to find yourself another taxi. I'm going to turn myself into the police. Looking down at the boy's unmoving form, Minorikawa felt a pang of guilt.
He's asking you to drive around so recklessly all day. This is on me too.
But
I'll go with you to the cops.
the two men decided to head to the station together to surrender themselves. There probably wouldn't be time to work on writing articles while they were being interrogated, but that's just how it'd have to be. This was the right thing to do. Minorikawa just had to keep telling himself that, knowing that it was the truth. bad and we're gonna have to do something with Achi.
Ended in disaster when the taxi he was riding in hit a young man, Archie, who ran out into the street. But why'd the kid rush out to the intersection like that? The answer lies in Archie's story.
Yep. It's okay. Hey. Oh, and Kano's story has opened up again after being closed.
Yeah, because with that bad end, it means that Minoru Kara wasn't on the building.
Yeah. Yeah. But, next, I think let's go back to Achi and stop him from doing that whole thing next.
Oi!
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen all of this already. Blah 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 blah. And this time Kiryu is not gonna be here because he went a different way to get a better weapon because Minorikawa told him he should get a better weapon, and so he's not gonna be here. And so we're gonna be okay, and then we're gonna do something. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Ah, let that kid go with me. It's weird that it put us all the way back here for this.
Yeah.
Now we have to literally click through all of this dialogue we have already seen, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying when they do that, to be honest.
Yeah. You know, gotta tell you that you deserted because that guy in the middle looks like he should belongs in a boy band instead of a gang.
Yep.
Whatever.
They usually do.
Now it seemed like all these young fellows were ready to follow suit, eager to take him down a peg.
You're all news, pal. Ain't your business, tell us how to do things.
Achi felt a confusing flood of anger and sadness that he couldn't quite control. I'm not messing around here, you guys. He grabbed the nearest punk by the collar and hefted him up into the air. Then someone shouted from behind him. Is this Hitomi?
Dunno.
Or no, it's Susumu. Was I Susumu or
changed.
were you Susumu?
You're Suzumu.
Hey, what's going on here? Achi put the guy down and turned around to see Susumu standing there. Mind telling me just what's going on here, Achi? Susumu flashed his underlings a sharp glare. They immediately took to their heels. Oh, this is him racing after them and getting hit by the car. So this time we're not gonna race after them like an idiot. We're just gonna stay here and talk with Susumu. Just what the hell was going on with SOS? Achi needed to talk to Susumu. I asked what was going on here. There was a threatening note in Susumu's voice. That's what I want to know. What the hell's happened to SOS, man? Susumu's face twisted with displeasure. You're an outsider now. That's none of your business. I don't give a damn if it's my business or not. When I left you in charge of SOSI, you shut your damn mouth. Yeah, that's right, you left me in charge. So don't you dare give me any lip now about how I run things. His sudden ferocity left Achi at a loss for words. You're not the one busting your ass out here. I am. Susumu stalked toward Achi, his face red with emotion. I've had to work so hard to keep things going with you gone. Do you have any idea what it's been like? Do you know what I've had to put myself through to keep SOS together?
Do you know what I've been through?
There was nothing Achi could say to that. He just kept his mouth shut and let Susumu talk. You were gone. I thought maybe I could do things like you did. All at once, Susumu seemed to deflate a little. He hung his head, hiding his face. And if I could be like you, then... Hey man, I get it, and I'm sorry. But Susumu kept his face averted. Please,
Aww.
he muttered. Stay out of our business. Aww. Then he turned his heel and headed off without looking back. Achi watched him leave, feeling a painful sting. And I love Hitomi just standing there like...
Right?
like, okay, that happened.
Gee.
Hitomi asked after Susumu was gone.
Are you sure you're okay leaving things like this?
Achi shrugged heavily. Susumu said he's doing what he can. It's not my place to butt in. He turned his back on Hitomi. He still needed a moment.
Archie, you're being unreasonable.
About what? He felt like he'd been wounded to his very core and he wasn't sure what to do about it.
You wanted to help people who are in trouble, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I'm in a whole world of trouble right now.
Yeah, I know that.
No, Archie, you don't. Please, go to your sister.
What are you talking about? That doesn't matter now.
Yes, it does.
Hitomi's shout stopped him in his tracks.
Archie, right now, the thing I'm having the most trouble with is I won't go to the hospital. Don't you get it? How can I possibly be happy with you helping me if you have to sacrifice your own sister to do it?
Achi couldn't answer that, and he knew it.
Please, go to the hospital. I'm asking you to, and I'm definitely so into trouble. So it doesn't count as making a promise, right?
I appreciate that. So yeah, how about we drop by a hospital for a bit? Let's go! So yeah, how about we drop by the hospital for a bit? The emotions Achi had been trying to hide now came welling to the surface. We'll go see Suzune. And after that, we could go look for your sister. Would that be okay with you?
That would be more than okay with me.
Oh, they're so cute. And at long last, Hitomi smiled at him. Back in sync with each other, Achi and Hitomi headed to the hospital. Shibuya Central Hospital was one of the foremost general hospitals in Japan, outfitted with top-notch medical facilities and staffed by highly skilled personnel. Individuals like Suzune with rare blood types were sent to the hospital from far and wide because of its cutting-edge hematology center.
The hospital division that deals with blood. Its goal is to provide high-end care to patients with blood disorders, including blood screening, treatment, transfusions, the management and supply of blood products, and other related services.
Achi asked Hitomi to stay in the waiting area while he headed on into the hospital proper. From the visitor's entrance, he passed by the nurse's station, then entered the cardiovascular medicine section and walked along a row of examination rooms.
The cardiovascular system includes the heart as well as various blood vessels that circulate blood throughout the body. Cardiovascular medicine deals with heart and blood issues such as angina, heart attacks, heart failure, irregular pulse, and the like.
He walked by the first room as quietly as possible, catching sight of a mother and daughter sitting together in chairs in the hallway. The mother was crying softly. "Oh, Takuya, he's only 15, she murmured under her breath. The name Takuya didn't ring a bell. It was the only 15 that got a reaction out of Achi. Only 15. He couldn't imagine anything good coming from after that. To be cruelly taken away when one was still so young. Achi could feel the woman's pain as deeply as if it were his own. When he reached Suzune's room, Dr. Sayaki, the attending physician, explained her condition. The doctor did his best to keep his explanation simple, but Achi was too worked up to process much of what he said. He did manage to wrap his head around a few things. At around 10 o'clock that morning, Suzune had a seizure. For a while, it had been touch and go, but finally her condition had stabilized. However, since she hadn't regained consciousness yet, she wasn't allowed any visitors. That was the gist, as far as Achi could tell. "What's your father doing today? He still hasn't come by," Dr. Sayaki said. Achi wasn't sure what to tell him. It was certainly odd. There was no way his father couldn't have rushed right to the hospital if he'd heard Suzune had taken a turn for the worse.
This is the person that called Archie earlier and you gave him a feminine voice?
Heck yeah.
Because you thought Doctor was a woman.
Yeah. "I'll give you a call when she's woken up. For now, you can head on home for the day." "Alright. Please, keep a close eye on her, Doctor." Somberly, Achi went to find Hitomi in the waiting area. Outpatient reception had closed for the day, leaving the hospital quiet. His footsteps echoed softly in the corridors. Then as he walked along, a peculiar sound drew his attention. It had come from over by the base of a nearby stairwell. Achi took a peek around the corner. The sight that greeted him nearly made him gasp aloud. In the dim light ahead, he saw Kanan, and she had some white guy pressed against the wall, a knife to his throat. He had some white guy.
Yeah.
Achi quickly yanked his head back out of view. Could it be? Was this the man Kanan said she was after? No. Achi had to resist the urge to go charging out there. Some amateur heading in half-cocked might well be more of a liability to Kanan than any sort of help. He heard her mother something to the man in English.
Know nothing about Alfred's background, nationality, sex, age.
You called him Alpharad again. Can't believe it's Alpharad.
You're the one that calls him Alfred.
Achi could just barely make out the words, but since it was all in English, he had no idea what they meant.
Of course. But we do know that whoever they are, they have connections to a language.
Slang for the
U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, headquartered in Langley, Virginia, similar to referring to the Japanese government as Nagatasho. The CIA's other nicknames include the company, the agency, the second government, the invisible government, and the goop makers. Because it's full of headless chickens.
Amazing. Achi peeked out again very cautiously in time to see the man raise an eyebrow at Kanan's words. Interesting. That doesn't mean you need to threaten me at knife point, though. He flashed her a thin smile.
Actually, maybe they happen to know that you're a CIA agent. Technically known as officers, the CIA referred to its own spies as agents. Someone in charge of directing agents is called a case officer. Case officers are stationed at embassies across the world in the public guise of diplomats, soldiers, and the like.
No sooner were Kanan's words out than the man grabbed her arm and tried to hurl her against the wall. Just before her head connected, though, she jackknifed her upper body forward, then planted both feet against the wall and kicked off with tremendous force. She used her momentum to launch herself forward, regaining her position with her knife against the man's throat. But during his brief opening, the man had managed to draw a gun from inside his jacket. Now the barrel was pressed right against Kanan's heart.
He's dokey, but he's cool.
Yep. He's awesome. Achi swallowed the lump in his throat. Honestly, Stanley is probably the closest to an Anya boy this game has.
Yes. How about we call a truce?
She withdrew her knife. Yeah, sounds like you and me are both after the same thing. The man likewise lowered his gun. With a faint smile, Kanan turned her back on him and vanished down the adjacent stairwell. Achi had no idea what had just happened. They'd stopped fighting though, so this guy probably wasn't Kanan's mastermind after all. If only Achi spoke a little English, he might have been able to follow their conversation.
Yeah.
He found himself wishing he'd taken school more seriously. When he looked again, he saw that the man too had disappeared. Interessante. Hitomi stood up from her chair as Achi hurried into the waiting area.
Hey.
What was that, Lulu?
I was reading the line.
Oh, okay. You cut off, so I just heard... Oh, I know. For some reason, I thought you said hey, but you were saying like the last part of Suzune.
Suzune.
For now, she's not in any immediate danger, they said.
That's good to hear.
But more importantly, Kanan was here just now.
What? Why?
I'm not sure. I'm not smart enough to figure that out.
What? I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Exactly. I couldn't understand anything she was saying. Hell, he couldn't even figure out how to get through to Hitomi. May I have a moment? Who is this? Oh, it's Stanley!
Yay!
May I have a moment? His breath caught in his throat as he turned around. Standing there was the man Kanan had been struggling with. What's up? He tried to sound as nonchalant as possible, but the man wasn't looking at Achi. You're Hitomi Osawa, is that right?
Yes.
Hey, keep your distance. He stepped protectively in front of Hitomi. This guy, he's not what he looks like. And she clenched his fists and adopted a defensive posture.
Clenched.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, well, Achi already knows that it's not the person Kanan was talking about, so I'll say I don't know who he is, but he's not our friend. I don't know who he is, but he's not our friend. The man calmly reached into his jacket pocket. Fearing he might be about to draw his gun, Achi braced for action.
Dork.
My name is Jack Stanley. I'm a security assistance officer with the U.S. Embassy. Achi held back his punch as the man held out his ID card.
Diplomats are issued diplomatic passports and diplomatic ID cards by the home government. Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs also issues its own form of diplomatic identification card. The CIA provides such identification. Oh my god, how many times am I going to say identification? To its operatives working overseas to help obtain their false identities.
Yep. Yeah. He's actually a secret agent. Dun, dun, dun. He's James Bond.
Da-da-da.
Embassy.
What is from the U.S. Embassy? What would be?
You're being targeted by a dangerous criminal. I'm here to take you into protective custody.
Custody?
Custody?
Oh.
Buzz off, pal. We're busy here. Busy searching for Maria Osawa. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances. I know the full details of the trouble you currently find yourselves in. Well, alright then. Then you should know we don't have time to get taken into custody. I'm afraid you don't understand the situation we're dealing with. We're up against a dangerous international criminal here. Taking reckless action is only going to put her life in danger. Don't be a fool. This is no time to play the knight in shining armor. Hey. Oh, wait, no. Don't be a fool. This is no time to be the knight in shining armor. Hey! Achi was infuriated, but he couldn't think of a comeback. After all, it was true that Hitomi had run into danger time and again while she was with him.
She would have regardless.
Yeah.
But I'm already safe. In fact, I feel like she would have been dead multiple times over.
Yeah.
Without Archie.
Yep.
I'm only here right now because Archie has been protecting me.
Yep, it's true. She eyed Stanley sharply.
I've got Archie with me. I don't need your protection.
Archie felt a surge of pride that practically brought tears to his eyes. Aww,
Aww.
my boy. If Hitomi would have let him, he'd have given her an enormous hug. Aww, they're so cute. Stanley grimaced in resignation. Alright. In that case, how about I join your search for Maria? I can help keep you safe that way instead.
I don't know.
Hitomi grabbed hold of Achi's sleeve. The Stanley fellow didn't have the most trustworthy face, Achi thought, but he realized that he might be biased after being chased around by foreigners all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, after all, if this guy really were after Hitomi, he'd probably have already made a show of force. Not only did he have a gun on him, he was sufficiently skilled in martial arts to hold his own against Kanan. He'd have no trouble taking down a single unarmed opponent like Achi. Hitomi, I get the impression the Stanley guy is not our enemy right now. Even though I said earlier that he might be, but now I changed my mind because I thought about it a little bit more, and I'm not entirely an idiot. Hitomi gave a slight nod.
Alright. I trust your judgment on this, Archie.
Now then, what's the plan from here? Not wandering aimlessly around town, I hope. There was a trace of snideness in his voice. You can just keep your mouth shut. We can wander around town all day if we feel like it. Toucan played the snarky game he thought to himself. Poor Hitomi looked distressed.
I don't think that was snarkiness on your part. This is stuff.
Yeah. Very well, if that's what you want, I could stay quiet. But first, I need to inform the police that I have Miss Osawa in my custody.
Wait, hold up. That isn't a good idea.
Stanley inclined his head. Why's that?
Well, since you already seem to know most of the story,
Hitomi quickly explained the kidnapper's threat and described the search for the minivan. Stanley remained quiet, listening with obvious interest. I see. Still, when that minivan exploded, didn't that make your promise to the kidnappers a moot point?
I suppose it did, didn't it?
Let me ask you just one more question. Do either of you know a detective by the name of Tateno?
No, we haven't run into any detectives.
Yeah, exactly. The only folks we seem to run into are guys who are after Hitomi.
One of them is a detective.
Yeah, one of them is Detective Tateno. I see. A grim expression crossed Stanley's face. Right. I'm going to get in touch with the investigation task force. I'll have them contact your parents for you. Would you mind speaking with them so they can confirm it's really you?
Sure, alright.
Stanley got on his wireless and described their current circumstances to the police. Mr. Endo, hold on. Oh, wait. Mr. Endo, hold on. Suddenly, Dr. Sayaki appeared, running down the hallway. There's something I forgot to tell you regarding your father. Oh? Achi got a sinking feeling. I got a call from him yesterday afternoon, and he asked me something rather odd. Preparations for a transplant? I'm sorry, I'm not entirely sure I understand what you're asking. Saiki clutched the receiver. Daisuke Endo's brooding tone was more than a little disturbing. No, it's alright. This is all just difficult to talk about, Doctor. Please forget I said anything. There's just one important thing I wanted to let you know. Yes? There's going to be a brain-dead woman coming your way at approximately around 9 o'clock this evening, I expect. Oh! It all makes sense now. I understand. I understand now. It all makes sense. So, Tateno is childhood friends with Achi's father. And currently, Achi's sister is in the hospital with this rare disease, and she needs a specific type of blood, like a specific type of heart, and it needs to be like a full-on heart.
Has that blood?
And so he is hoping. That's why Tateno's been chasing them this whole time. It wasn't because of the whole other stuff that's going on. It was actually because he's trying to help Achi's father save Achi's sister, and that means he has to kill Hitomi so that he could get her heart, so that they can use her heart for the transplant to save Achi's sister.
Yes.
I figured it out. I mean, your way at approximately around 9 o'clock this evening. Her blood type is Bombay. Bombay was the extremely rare blood type that Endo's daughter Suzune possessed. Any transplant donor for Suzune would also need to have the Bombay blood type.
Which Toby has.
Yeah, since she had the same blood type as Suzune, the transplant itself isn't an issue. The only thing I'm concerned about is whether the procedure can be done within the limited time window. And I hate to trouble you, but I just called because I think it would be best to prepare for the surgery as soon as possible. The more Sayeki heard, the more disturbed he grew. It felt like he was listening to this man go on about some strange delusion. Doctor, please just take good care of Suzune. With that, Endo hung up. Oh, me! Ashi kept quiet as he listened to Dr. Sayeki tell his story. Of course, that was yesterday. I still haven't heard anything about a brain-dead girl turning up. Oh, wait. Of course, that was yesterday, and I still haven't heard anything about a brain-dead girl turning up. After all, only God would know when someone would wind up in a state of brain death. But still, there was just something very strange about what your father said. It was if he was certain that someone was gonna wind up brain dead, or... Just stop right there! Stanley and Hitomi turned in surprise. They were still in the middle of their wireless phone to the police. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to imply that your father would hurt anyone. What I'm worried about is your father's mental state and... No! That's not it! His own words from earlier spun within his head.
Yep.
Yep, it's finally connected. It has finally connected in his brain. He's finally connected the dots.
This is how Kitano kept finding us.
Yep, it's because he's been my dad has been in on this whole time. My dad's been trying to kill Hitomi.
Yep.
No. The security cameras. Sure, this is the place.
How he knows, how the guy with the cane knew Archie.
Yep.
And also, the only reason that Archie ends up dying is through other people. Other people in the storyline, but never by Tano.
Yep, because Satano's been working with his father. Aw, snap. It didn't mean anything. It was just a coincidence. It couldn't be true. Archie searched desperately for some other explanation. That was it. Anyone from the downtown committee could have used the camera monitoring room.
Yeah, no one's been by to check today. Nothing wrong with a little nap, huh?
No dice. No one from downtown had been by the surveillance room today. It couldn't be. It couldn't. Archie began to tremble.
But it is.
Yeah, but it is.
Is something the matter? Archie, you're pale as a ghost.
Archie gazed beseechingly back into her face. With just one simple question, he could clear this whole thing up. Do you have Bombay blood? Please tell me I'm overthinking this. He prayed inwardly before asking. Hitomi, would you mind telling me your blood type?
Why do you ask?
Please, just tell me.
I have a sort of weird blood type. It's called Bombay.
Yep.
Poor Archie.
Archie.
And he brought he literally brought her to the hospital as well.
Yeah. Can't believe Papa Anya is trying to kill Hitomi.
Yep.
The last piece of the puzzle fell into place. There was no longer any room for doubt. Archie found himself facing a sad and painful truth. Doshite! Doshite! With an English scream, Archie punched the wall as hard as he could. But his fist still didn't hurt as much as his heart. Oto-san! Doshite!
Nani?
Ah, snap. Another to be continued.
Poor Archie.
Yep. Do you think we can finish this today?
No.
You don't want to keep going?
It's already past the 3-hour mark, aren't you?
Yeah. We have 2 to be continues and 3 that still...
We're not finishing this today.
Yeah. Oof. Wah wah.
Which is okay.
But yeah. So next time I'm trying to decide what might be better, to go for Kano or to go for... Because Maria, we can't continue, we're on a keep out. So we'll need to either do Kano or Minorikawa. Well, we'll find out when it happens. The 10-year journey is almost at an end.
It's really not.
Well, we have this whole section, then we have the next section, which we're almost done with, I feel like. We're towards the end of this section. So I think next time we'll definitely finish this section and hopefully start the next section. And then we have the entire next section, and then we have the last section.
Anya, I've played this. I know better than anyone how long it is.
Oh no. I'm scared.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
just because we have the hours put together, we go up 2 hours, doesn't mean it's any less as long.
Oof. Oof. The struggle is real.
Yeah, we're skipping the next 20 lines right now, so...
Crazy.
But maybe it felt longer to me because I kept, I was physically trying to get the bad ends, so...
Yeah, so maybe that could also be a thing as well, whereas if we're going straight for the best ending, or at least trying to, it may not take as long.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see. But thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out, Lulu. I love you very much. And thanks for hanging out, Azure. You're the best. I love you.
I love you all the most.
No, all of you.
Love you all the naughtiness.
No! I'll fight ya. For real, for real. Let's see who we shall raid. I'll fight ya, Azure. For real. Let's see. Who is live? Oh, Tilly is live, playing Satisfactory. So let's raid Tildays. Thanks for thanks. What am I saying? Thanks for hanging out. I love you all very much. I think I'll have my regular Saturday stream again this upcoming weekend. There should be nothing going on, so hopefully that'll be a thing. And of course, next Monday we'll continue on with this. But yeah, so thank y'all for joining. Y'all are the bestest beings, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!